Well, we could talk about Pierce Brosnan, but let's talk song. Today I'm going to listen to and analyze Teddy Swim's new single, Guilty. I'm really curious to find out songwriting learnings. Without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so little intro that allows us to find the key. Boom. I think this is the tonal center. Boom. Is it F minor? Quite unusual. Okay, and now we try and find the chord progression. So I believe we are in the key of F minor or A flat major. The fourth chord is quite unusual. So we have got an F minor to A flat major to E flat major. So 6 minor to 1 to 5. And then, is it 3 minor? Definitely not. Could also be 2 minor. Or is it 2 major? I somehow feel like it's 2 major. I don't really know why. Which would make this tiny modal interchange there, because there is no such thing as a 2 major in the Ionian scale. But I think they do a tiny modal interchange there.
Of having only eyes for you, of letting you turn my crimson.
So it's definitely modal interchange. It's definitely the 2 major, the B flat major chord, and that guy can sing.
Of getting hella jealous of the ground that's under you.
Okay, let's look at verse melody a little bit. So they basically have got 2 verse halves, the second being, in terms of melody, the repetition of the first, and the melody is
of having only eyes for you.
Really cool. Of having only eyes for you, of having only eyes for you. I feel like they are not using chord notes only. So that B flat gets a lot of prominence in the melody, creating really beautiful contrast to, for example, that 6 minor chord where it's not a part of, or to that 1 major chord where it's also not a part of. So here we simply add the 11 or 4, and here it's the 2, so creating really nice flavor and making this kind of floaty.
Of letting you turn my crimson skies blue.
And it's always that very wordy first half of having only eyes for you, of letting you turn my crimson skies blue, and then a relaxed breath that we take with those woo parts that span over one progression. And then we bring back the melodic idea
of hating you're somebody new.
It's somebody and not somebody, but I'm very picky about words.
Of getting hella jealous of the ground that's under you.
Really, really nice lyrics. Of getting hella jealous of the ground that's under you, okay? Making this very rhythmically precise and making the first verse really special.
Way too hard for trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar.
Ah, I now understand what the lyrics are about. And this weird beginning with off every time that he says something like of having only eyes for you, of letting you turn my crimson skies blue, and so on, are all the things that he is guilty of. Okay, so really interesting foreshadowing of the song title. And this is what I would call a pre-chorus, because it really builds to that title. Let's see what happens harmony-wise.
Going way too hard for trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar.
same harmonic progression then in the verse, but definitely different things in the melody and in the words. So we introduce a new hook, that is this of going way too hard.
Going way too hard.
Other melody note as well. Okay, this time the E flat, so 1/4 above the B flat, playing a prominent note, creating a minor 7 feel on that F minor chord. And then it's the 5, right? Of going way, really cool.
Going way too hard. I'm trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar.
And that beautiful contrast between very, very short lines that kind of leave you hanging, like this of going way too hard, and then very wordy lines, but that are very on point in terms of phrasing, of trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar. Is it that?
I'm trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar.
No, it's always bow, right? Always punching in that E flat of trying to call you when I'm storming out the bar.
I'm trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar.
Now the short lines again.
Going way across the line. I'm guilty, baby.
Oh yes, that's good.
I'm guilty, baby.
And it's the same progression all over again. Now that I think about it, we have never been in the key of F minor or A flat major, but instead it's a 2 minor 4 1 5 progression. Listen to this. I don't know if they did the same thing in the verse, but now I seem to understand what's happening. Okay? 2 minor, 4, 1, and then 5. And then we don't need that modal interchange excuse, so we always were in the key of E flat major. But the curious, funny thing is that we start the progression on the 2, right?
I'm guilty, baby.
I'm guilty! And we move the melody even further up with that E flat to F to G. I'm guilty!
I'm guilty, baby.
Baby! Okay, so very, very simple melody that only consists of 3 notes now. I'm guilty! Baby! And really powerful.
I've been a bleeding heart is a crime. If loving you means I'm serving life.
And in the chorus structure, we see something that we have seen in other very successful pop songs. The third progression should be reserved for something totally different. If you have got a strong hook like this I'm guilty thing, it's okay to repeat it once, but then you must change in order to bring it back in the fourth progression, right? And that's why they come up with if having a bleeding heart is a crime, if loving you means I'm serving life. That's why they come up with that additional hook line.
I've been a bleeding heart is a crime.
And I feel the melody is very weird too, that ba-da-da-dum. Again, creating really nice friction, so they really try the flavors of the different notes on the progression. This time they always land on the D note, so on the major 7 of the E flat scale, creating additional juice and flavor with the chords, right? Here, now suddenly it's the 13, and here it's the 4, right? Or the 11 chord. So they definitely know how to spice stuff up with interplay between chords and melody. And then they bring back the I'm guilty baby at the end of the chorus, creating a nice bracket with the title of the song.
Medicine as a curse on the nights when the voices in my
Is that the phrasing of melody number 1?
Of having only eyes for you.
Okay, so it was very clear in terms of metric rhythm there. It's not so clear here.
Using medicine as a crutch on the nights when the voices in my head won't.
It gets a bit blurrier, which makes sense when we look at the lyrics of using medicine as a crutch on the nights when the voices in my head won't shut up. Definitely talking about substance abuse. And turning this into a prosodic booster line of verse number 2, where of course the metric rhythm isn't as it should be because we're talking about issues. And really shortening that verse number 2, which brings us directly into pre-chorus number 2, which is definitely a very good idea to kind of speed things up as you go along. Interesting ad-libby variation of the melody, which is definitely Teddy Swims' strength, that builds up even more to chorus number 2. What I wanted to check out is if the lyrics and the pre-choruses are the same, because I think no. Pre-chorus number 1 was of going way too hard, of trying to call you while I'm storming out the bar, of going way across the line, of needing you at the end of every night. And here we have got of going way too far, of driving by your place and counting up the cars, of going way across the line, of needing you at the end of every night. Is of driving by your place and counting up the cars a stalking reference that is really creepy? A person just driving by somebody's place and counting cars to make sure that there is no car that shouldn't be there? I don't know. Chorus number 2. The thing is, I think the reason why I was confused in terms of the tonal center is basically due to this melodic games that we play, where we actually use a lot of notes that are not exactly in the chords, creating that dreamy atmosphere and leaving everything kind of undefined, because here every time in the chorus, every time that we hear the one chord, we really know that we're home. Something that I didn't feel in the other sections.
I'm guilty, baby. I'm loving you means I'm serving like I'm guilty.
That's a really good line in terms of melody. Bam! So simple yet so effective because it creates that nice magic with the chords.
I need you. Ain't enough words to say.
What's going on? That caught me by surprise. That was a bridge that really blew you away. That screams, I don't know, earth, wind and fire.
How bad I need you.
How bad I need you. Is that this? I think, right? And that means that we actually leave the key of E flat. What's going on there?
How bad I need you. Ain't enough words to say.
Ain't enough words to say. I think something like this.
How bad I need you. Ain't enough words to say.
I don't know what's happening there. I must find out the chords.
How bad I need you.
So it's... I think it's this. How bad I need you. Right? C to F minor.
Ain't enough words to say.
we do ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum. I think it's this.
But just on a different page.
And this last thing I don't understand.
I'm guilty.
Can it be? Okay, I don't know where we're going from here, but what I hear is a C major, F minor, B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, and B flat major with A flat in bass progression. A 6-chord progression and also a 6-bar progression. Quite unusual, creating that beautiful and traditional drop a fifth sequence in a way. So if we look at what the bass does, going from C to F to B flat to E to A flat, we always go down a fifth, something that we see in Miley Cyrus's Flowers, something that we see in a lot of very, very powerful pop songs. The clever part being that we directly start with a secondary dominant, because remember that we actually are in the key of E flat. There is no such thing as a C major in the key of E flat. What we do here is we take C major as the secondary dominant to build up to F minor, which is the 2 minor chord. Then we do 2 minor, 5, 1, 4. And what they do here is they just leave the bass note and change the upper shape, go from 4 to the 5 chord. And this is the thing where I think I said this screams Earth, Wind and Fire, because it's so soul-y, juicy, bluesy. And then back to C, play the thing over again, and then suddenly we do something totally different, which is we introduce yet another secondary dominant, this time the G major, because remember that we have to go back to the E flat last chorus. Well, using the G major because we want to go to a C minor scale is a very good idea. And do they also reharm the last chorus?
I'm guilty.
So harmonies are the same, back to the original.
Baby, I'm guilty.
And having this open and not doing the last downbeat resolution. That was a brilliant song. I think we can go and try summarize songwriting learnings. Songwriting learning number 1, this is about metric rhythm. So in the verses we could hear a really cool contrast between those very short and airy lines and those very wordy lines, something that we can hear quite nicely here.
Hey, you're somebody new. Of getting hella jealous of the ground.
Right? So of hating you're somebody new, everything nice and slow, and then speed up. Of getting hella jealous of the ground that's under you. Right? Really, really cool. Songwriting learning number 2 is about your chorus structure. If you have got a very short hooky line, like I'm guilty baby, it's okay to use that as line number 1, line number 2, and line number 4, as long as you create something new in line number 3, which in that case is this: if having a bleeding heart is a crime, if loving you means I'm serving life. That actually prevents the chorus from getting boring, because saying I'm guilty 4 times in a row definitely would have made it boring. And songwriting learning number 3 is definitely about this very, very powerful bridge, the very powerful primary bridge, where we introduce a whole new, very traditional chord progression, namely the drop of fifth sequence, one of my favorite progressions, because you can do so many things with it. And using that primary bridge to really show something else, to give everything a new harmonic, melodic, and lyrical perspective. and then bringing everything back to that very, very cool last chorus that doesn't change harmonies, but that gets built up so nicely, for example, with that secondary dominant G chord, or that is actually just a bit more relaxed because we have this voice only
I'm guilty.
and an acoustic guitar just giving the harmonic foundations, so breaking everything down in order to build it up at the end. This was my on-the-fly analysis of Teddy Swim's Guilty. I think we are going to hear that song on the radio a lot, and deservedly so. If you liked my reaction video to this, please make sure to give me the thumbs up, to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet, to leave friendly comments, maybe suggesting other songs that you would like me to analyze, to please take a look at the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting available at spectreacademy.net. I guess we've talked song, you can talk about Pierce Brosnan now. Bye bye!